All right, welcome everybody to the client support webinar for April 5th, 2023. Hope everybody is doing well out there. Okay, let me just make sure first the audio is A-OK. Sometimes that gets a little sticky, if you know what I mean. So let me make sure if that is A-OK. If it gets worse during the presentation, let me know right away because, I don't know unless somebody tells me. Thanks, Terry. Okay, good. Stephen, great. Okay, great. All right, all good. You can see my screen, right? So that should be okay too. All right, good. All right, so this is being recorded. Now, let me just tell you, the recordings are kept, in a private area on our YouTube channel. And how you access those is through a special link in the VIP area. So all of these are recorded. And so, if you want to go back and take a look at something, they're there for you. You just got to know how to get there. If you log into our YouTube channel, you can't access it. You have to use a special link. And the reason we do that is because we want to hide it from the general public because, some of the things might be personal. We talk about stuff like that in here. So we don't want that to be necessarily public. So we keep it secure. All right, just so you know. All right, so good turnout here. All right, well, let me go through some of the administrational items so we can jump into some things today. First thing I want to talk a little bit about are the risks involved in trading. There are risks. You got to protect yourself. You got to use good risk control. You want to be sure you're trading with money you can afford to risk. One of the biggest problems I think new traders have is, they're they're trying to make a living from trading the financial markets. They may have just lost their job or just need some other income. And it creates that urgency that they have to produce money now. And that's usually a recipe for disaster when trading the markets or doing most anything. It puts a lot of pressure on you. And trading is actually something you kind of got to be good at, right? Before you're going to make money at it. So there's a learning curve to it. And you're not going to learn it in a weekend. It's going to take a persistent love of the business in order to keep going, okay, and learn how to do it. And that's where so many people fall off the bandwagon. So just keep that in mind. It's a great business. Once you got it, but it's not instantaneous. You got to really develop it. And you also have to have great structure and you have to have the right tools, all right? And the right tools don't necessarily mean just one particular way of doing it. It means that you have to, all right, know how you want to trade and the tools you select are doing what matches your personality. All right. Like for me, for example, I like to trade at the beginning of new trends. I don't like to get in late at trends. Now, some people have no problem with that, and that's fine. But for me, I like to get in the beginning. So all my structure, the way in which I use my tools are all set up to do that. The way I scan for the markets and so forth. So everybody trades a little differently, and there's no right or wrong way as long as you're profitable and have an edge. So keep that in mind, all right? Mike is saying, can I explain again how to access the YouTubes? Yes. So if you log into the client support, Mike, do you know where that is? You know where you log in to look at educational content that we have using your username and password? You'll see things in there. Okay. If you log into there, I think it either is right when you first log in. If you scroll down there, there's some areas where you can see it, but there's also some areas that are on the VIP area. Let me just do it right now so you can see where it is. And this will be good for everybody. So give me a minute. Just let me log in to my account and I will show you guys what I'm talking about. That way you'll know without guessing. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, so I'm just gonna, after you log in, you end up here, right? Okay, all right, and so here it is right here. Okay, and you wanna click on this one. We have a bunch from way back when that we keep in a different area. You're probably not gonna wanna use those because we have hundreds now in here, but that's where it is, okay? So when you log in, it's there. So it's under home page, okay? So it's under the home page and it's right on the right. Cool? And that actually is not a bad thing to show too, because here's all these little headers up here, but there's a lot of things. This is kind of a good thing to talk about because people can get confused in here. So when you go into like the VIP Center, click that, okay? That's going to take you to a little bit of a welcome page, but if you don't scroll down, you might miss this information, okay? We have the TC forum down here. Again, here they are again, the webinars. All right, here's the one if if you want to come and for some reason we didn't automatically add you or something changed, your email address changed, then you go here to register again, okay, so you can come here, get the live sessions. If you purchased Platinum Care or you just bought our software where we include that for 30 days and you need to schedule a session, you go here. Got social media, so if you're wondering where our YouTube is or our Facebook, we got that. All right, and then here's the software download area too, okay? That'll take you to the general software download area. Now, here's kind of something we get asked a lot, okay? We recommend Options Play. It's a great software on how we choose options we want based on what the charts are telling us. And so this is kind of a neat thing because if you click here, we have a deal set up with Options Play where they'll give you 20% off, and it's pretty inexpensive to begin with. But you can get a free 30-day trial. So if you click here where it says order now, it brings up our custom page they built for us where you put in your information and you get 20% off. So we don't get a kickback for that, okay? Just so you know. But it is good software, so we want to pass that on to our clients. All right, technology tips here, things like what we recommend in terms of a computer and all that kind of good stuff. So that's kind of, that's on the VIP page. So what I just looked at was here. All right, now we also have online courses. You can click here. And these are our different online course access. All right, now these you have to purchase. So you're not going to have access to these unless you got something, okay? Unless you purchase something. Subscriptions, same type of thing, okay? We have day trading room here, Oracle Inner Circle, software downloads, a direct link to the software download. So here's all the platforms that we're compatible with, including the risk control software at the bottom. And just so you know, if you want to look at your hardware requirements, you got that. All right, technology tips, you got that. Talk about data and stuff like that. Also too, let's see what else I wanted to say with that. When you click on here, it will take you to a specific platform that you're using, and then you can download the software, and the downloads are all in zip files, and you basically download those to your desktop or documents folder, wherever you want. You open up the zip file, and not only is the installation file is in there, but you also have all the manuals, okay? None of our software has no viruses at all right? Sometimes the virus software or Windows will say this is a potential hazard. It's only because they don't recognize us because we're a small company. We're not like IBM, So don't worry about that. Just continue on and say, yes, I accept everything and la, 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 and go ahead and download it and install it, okay? So that's how you do that. We have a TC forum, and not many people know about this, but this is kind of a place where you can go and maybe look up questions you're having or issues. So that's all there. All our software updates that we announce are all in here, okay? So anytime we announce an update, it'll be in there. Now, what we want you to do is become a member of the forum specifically, all right? And there's a little button off here called sign up. And this has to do with the forum only. It has nothing to do with the portal. This is the forum. And so if you sign up and you put your email address in, anytime somebody posts in here, you're going to get an email that somebody posted. And so you want to do that because when we put a software update here, this is how we notify everybody, then you're going to get a email from the forum area, and there you go. Okay, you'll know the update's in place. Oh, here's a button I put specifically up here for the Option Play software, so you can go right there. Okay, helpful software tips right here for the different platforms. creating and using chart and scanner templates, art overview, videos on the different platforms, the Trader's Assistant instructional video, and so that kind of thing, okay? So there's a lot of information in the portal, and you may not be aware of it all. So when you go to a page, make sure you scroll all the way down so you don't miss anything. And this is very possible when you get to the VIP that it's easy to miss it unless you scroll down, okay? Any questions on that? I think that will help a lot of people, Mike, so I'm glad you asked that question. That's something good to cover. All right, and you do have to have a username and login to get it. And when you buy something, you know, we give you that. So that's kind of how that works. Now, if you change your email, all right, you got to use whatever email you originally either ordered from us or told us. Now, we can change it, but you got to tell us, okay? In other words, if you get rid of an old email that's tied with this account, you want to update it, send us an email. Send an email to support so we can update and transfer all your login information, okay, over. All right, so that is the portal. Kind of cool, huh? And we have a lot of videos that are housed in there for various different events and stuff. All right, so I'm going to get rid of that and come back out. All right, so we talked a little bit about the risks and the fact that you want to be trading with risk capital and not, you know, your mortgage payment or something. Don't do that. And I get it. You know, you get, things happen in life, and you get behind and stuff, and you kind of want to get ahead. But in our experience, people that are under the gun that much, all right, it's so much stress. It's hard for them to pull it out. Okay. All right. So there you have it. All right. So that's one thing. And of course, hypothetical or past performance does not guarantee future performance. We also want you to talk to your financial advisor, accountant, or whoever manages your money before actually implementing anything like the trades we talk about or whatever, to make sure they're suitable for you. I don't know your personal situation, and a lot of factors go into that, like your age, your financial needs, short-term and long-term. Some of the trades may be suitable. Trading may be suitable or not suitable for you, depending on where you are in life, okay? So just keep that in mind and check with them to make sure you don't get in over your head. Now, one area that we're really good at and specialize in is, of course, risk control. And we have a whole suite of software tools for this, but also, too, we got two great books, this one and this one. The difference between the two books is this is comprehensive. It's a big read. This book we made and basically stripped out all the important aspects you need to know to implement risk control into your trading program. It's kind of like the Cliff Notes of the trader's money management system. I remember using Cliff Notes when I was in college. Thank God for them. Got me through college. I'm sure it helped many of you too. So that's the Cliff Notes of risk control. So it gives you the formulas, whatever you need to go ahead and start implementing risk control into your trading program. But also, too, we have a lot of people like to take a deep dive into the risk of ruin tables and all that kind of stuff, and that's in the comprehensive book. So that is available. I came out with this in 2022, last year, but the one I'm excited about this year is this bad boy here, coming out with a brand new Art of Trading book, second edition. Our first edition came out in 2008, and a lot has changed in terms of things that we're going to talk about in the book regarding our new software, some additional things that we use, more specifics on fibs and things like that. It's going to be a great book. Worked hard on it, and it should be out later this year. So I'm pretty excited about that. You can pre-order it and just go to our website, and we can access under education books. It'll take you right to our Amazon page. All right, then we have Elliott Wave techniques. You know, I'm a big Elliott Wave person, so I wrote a book on that. McGraw-Hill asked me to write that for them, so I wrote it. Good book, give you what you need to know on the Elliott Wave. I also include in there a probability type of assessment of it. We also have a home study course that goes into the probability matrix on percentage probabilities of different wave counts based on different things we tell you to look for. And then the Survival Guide for Traders is a reference type of book. So if you're thinking about doing this, and you kind of want to run your own hedge fund from your own home, that's a great book. A lot of reference material will help you out a lot. All right, so those are my books available at Amazon, but we're not done yet. All right, so we also have all the trading tools, and the top row is our charting software. How many people out there own our charting software right now? Probably most all of you. That's why you're here, right? We got a full room today, so it's really good. I want to appreciate everybody taking the time to come here today. Feel free to ask any questions you want regarding either the software that you may be using or the home study courses. There's no bad question. The whole purpose here is for me to help you. I'm gonna talk a little bit about day trading in a minute. So I'm getting to the meat and potatoes here. All right, so the top row is our charting software. The middle row is our scanners. Now, scanners are how we find the different stocks quickly. It also, basically the way they're set up, a lot of the scanners, for example, will look for some of the things that we look with the charting software. So for example, the turbo scanner here has the OWL, PTF, and TLM built in to it, which is this, all right? So it's a nice complement to the charting software, but it also runs independently. So if you don't own the charting software, the OWL, PTF, or TLM, you can still use the scanner because it has all the code built into it for that. So it works independently. Turbo scanner, I mean trade confirmer, not turbo scanner. Turbo scanner has the ART system built into it. And then we have the multiple time frame analyzer and the Elliott wave scanner too. So there you have it. And then at the bottom, we have our risk control software. So we call this the ultimate trading system, not to brag, but actually because we're trying to illustrate that we cover the important aspects of what software you need to be successful. You can't have charting software without a way in which to find the trades you want. And so therefore you have to have the scanners. You can't be successful with charting software and scanner software unless you have risk control. And so therefore the risk control software. So that's why we call it the ultimate trading system, because it covers the important things you need to have in terms of software tools to be successful in the business. All right, so I kind of always like to spend some time on that. I don't do it in every client support, but I kind of think this was the right time to talk a little bit about that. All right, so let me get out of here. All right, here's TradeStation running. I have TradeStation running today, and I have the M&Q unfolding on a 1 minute time frame. So I use multiple time frame analysis. Many of you are you know, the veterans here, so you know that already. So I've used 3 charts for 1 symbol. And what you're looking at is this running on NinjaTrader, but it runs just as good on TradeStation or any of the others. Up here are all the scanners, the multicolored rainbow. All right. Over here is our risk to reward calculator, which we use for day trading, position trading, futures, or stocks. Now, a couple things. If you're using the trade size calculator, that's going to calculate your trade size. So that's going to give you the same information this is. But what we did is took it 1 step further, and we included a risk to reward area down here on the risk to reward calculator. So if you're using the trade size calculator, you can upgrade to the risk to reward calculator for, I don't know, like 60 bucks, 69 bucks, whatever it is. I think it's well worth it because it gives you a lot of cool information. We don't like to take a trade unless the risk to reward is 2 to 1 in our favor. And so the calculator tells you that very quickly. This chart, okay, is the M&Q, okay? It's a futures chart. We don't day trade stocks. We only day trade futures. And we have a futures room dedicated to that. This is the June 23rd contract, 1 minute time frame, 5 minute, and here is the 15-second. Now, a couple things. You don't have to trade these exact time frames. You know, you may want to trade the 2 minute here, and then go 5 time frames up and put the 10 minute over here. All right, and then maybe put a 30-second over here, or you can go down to maybe a 1 minute. But you know, the idea is you want to spread them out and try to do it with at least 5 time frames in between, so you get a good picture of the short, intermediate, and long-term time frames of the chart you're analyzing, of the market you're analyzing. And so by loading our software on each chart tells its own story. And you have reoccurring patterns on all time frames that look the same. And I can tell you, if I took out the price and the time down here on every one of these charts, and then I got rid, well, if I did that, and you couldn't tell what time frame you were looking at. Because, and the reason for that is you see the same configuration or patterns throughout all charts. They just occur at different times. If I remove the M and Q so you couldn't see if it was a futures market, you wouldn't know if you were looking at a stock or a futures or forex or a bond. You wouldn't, okay? So this is why this works, putting software on 3 different time frames. It's called using the fractal symmetry of the markets to gain a unique picture on each time frame. And so in a case like this, notice we had a nice bearish move to the downside. Our pyramids caught this M and Q trade beautifully. And what we do is then move our stops down on each pyramid until we're finally stopped out at the last pyramid. All right, not bad for a couple hours of trading today. That's a big win. Now things may be reversing. We may have a counter trend trade at some point. Okay, so we also still may be unwinding to the downside because we still haven't quite hit the target down here yet. So notice here momentum. When we take a trade here, we want to make sure the momentum here is red. Okay, we don't want to go against the short-term momentum. So we kind of align things together. And in this case, we even had a red owl here and red here. So this was a very easy trade to know to go short on. And I love it because look, right around the short signal is generated right around here. This is an MP. By the way, MPs, when you see those showing up on charts, you guys know what that means, right? That means there's a correction coming in the downtrend, okay? So you would have been taken out here and then go back in here and trail your stops down here. And so this, in an Elliott wave, this is probably a 3-4. And this may be still unwinding as a 5. We have to see. It did meet the minimum requirements going below 3, a little shy on the target. So, you know, we got to watch that. Now, on the 5-minute, what this is saying, if this is the 5th wave, there are 5 waves in an impulsive wave. So that means we're coming to the end of wave 3, but we may come back down. So I got to wait until some of these pressure points here are taken out before I consider a long trade, because wave 5 still might be in progress. And I say that because also this is still so deep here. All right, that's a pretty negative owl there. So any bullish trade here is going to be corrective until that thing turns over. All right, so that's kind of 60-minute chart is taken off. Okay, so we are getting some real bullishness coming in at this point. So if we back down and this bottom holds here, all right, this gets a little closer here, it comes down here, I might consider a long trade at that point. All right, but for right now, what I want to try to explain to you is that by having the right tools, kind of takes the guesswork out, right? And that's how it works, okay? So when you see a P pyramid, that always points in the direction of the trend, and MP indicates the direction of a correction, okay? Does not mean the trend is over. Sometimes MPs form at the bottom of the trend, but sometimes they form just during a breath or a wave 4 or 2 at times, okay? So they just indicate that, and you can use those for scaling out, which is why we show them, all right? So if you ever want to scale out of something. Now, you know, here is bullishness, bullishness, bullishness. So I'm certainly at this particular point not going to take a new short trade right now, okay, because I've been stopped out already. All right, so at this particular point, my scenario now changes from bearishness to looking for a potential bullish trade to the upside. And if wave 5 is still unfolding, then we'll see some more selling, I think, before I would get in. Okay, so that's kind of the way it would work. So there you have it. Okay, we use this type of analysis on all time frames in all markets. So it's not just daily charts, weekly charts, and 60-minute charts. It's right across the board. And if we go to some of the other markets we like to trade, here's the MES, for example, not quite as even flowed as, so there's a little volatility here, okay? You could have made money on these little dips down, but it's a lot more volatile than the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ was a better trade today, okay? MYM, messy trade. Okay, you're just not gonna go into that. Messy. I would stay away from this at this time. The only trade you possibly could consider is a PTF trade, which is a scalp trade on the 15-second. Go short, stop here, and go down here. But your risk to reward is not 2 to 1. So I wouldn't do anything with that. So in a way, you got to be structured and wait for the good trade. You don't have to wait long on these time frames. All right, let's take a look at gold. All right, here is gold. So we got a bearish PTF and we have a green PTF on the short term. So that means that we're moving up. And as long as this stays red, as soon as this turns yellow or turns abruptly red, and this turns red, all right, then and this has to be red still, then we could look for a possible short trade to the downside. But we're not going to trade anything now because the 15-second is not in sync with the 1 minute, and the weekly chart really isn't helping us that much. So why take the trade? Take a look at crude oil. Crude oil is an interesting beast. Crude oil, okay, let's see what's going on with this bad boy. All right, again, weekly chart. Let's see what we got there. Let's open up the weekly chart and just see a little bit more. Okay, so we got a bottom here and a bottom here that have held. So, okay, so maybe we have some bottoms here and we want to be biased to the upside. That's about all that's telling me. And then I go over here and I say, okay, do I have any type of entry that's nice? No, it's a mess. How about the 15-second chart? Well, that's kind of nice, but where is the market going? All right, it's kind of been bouncing around. All right, so there's no real trade there either. So by process of elimination, you find the best trades or you wait until one of those sync up. And this makes day trading very, very structured and therefore a lot less stress. So I hope you kind of see the vision here, okay, of what we're doing here with this. And sometimes the best trade is no trade while you're waiting for your setup. And again, when we go back to other markets, all right, we see the same type of thing. If, for example, in gold, if we look at gold here a little bit, you'll see that in gold, all right, we draw on our fibs and we go long. We recommended gold. But again, things lined up. We had green at the time of the recommendation. We did not have a red down here at the time of the recommendation. Yellow is okay to go long or short. And this was okay too. So, and the pyramids have plotted the ways. It's clear. We retraced perfectly and it rebounded. The more dots you can connect of the way things should behave, the better potential your trade is. But sometimes you have to wait a little while for that to happen. So be patient, okay? All right, well, that's what I wanted to cover today. Just kind of give you an overview of connecting the dots, basically, and to see how the system works on all these types of time frames. So, we try to keep these sessions to about a half an hour. I don't see any questions coming in, so I assume everybody's doing okay. If you have a question that comes up during the week, write it down and feel free to bring it over to us here. Sometimes, you can always email support. Support email is 24/7. I guess they do sleep, so it might be a little while before they get back sometime to you. But if you need an explanation with a chart, sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if they get back to you and you kind of don't understand, bring the question here so we can look on a chart together, okay, and go through it. Frank, let me see, you got one here. Thanks, Ben. I don't come to these often. Well, you should come to these often, Frank. But I'm so glad I saw all this today. Good, good. So, so we always try to cover some form of topic, even if there's not many questions, to enhance your education. So once again, this was recorded. It will go on to our YouTube area that's hidden, but you know now how to access that. And thanks for coming, everybody. Okay, and we'll be back next week, same time, same day. All right. So any last minute things? All good out there? All right, great. All right, so that's it for today, okay? The YouTube, Steve, let me just show you how to find it, okay? I'm gonna teach you how to fish instead of fishing for you. So let me actually go on to where you find it, okay? You must have come in late because I covered this earlier as well, okay? Thank you, Stephen, and a great Easter holiday to you as well. All right, so let me quickly, before we sign off, let me help Steve here and show him where he can find all this information that I was showing you guys earlier. Give me a second, Steve. I just got to log in. Okay, so when you log in to Customer Hub, now Customer Hub is the client. I call it Customer Hub because it's run by a company called Customer Hub, and you can see the name up here. But this is our VIP area. Okay, this is our VIP area. And this VIP area is the one you need to access to get the link for the recording. And you use your username and password, Steve, that issued to you when you buy a home study course or the art software or whatever. And as soon as you log in, all right, you will have access to all the areas in the Customer Hub area. And so right smack in the home page where you first log in is the links for the client support archive recordings. And here's the one for YouTube, okay? Now we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of old client support. You know, we've been doing this a long time. So those are housed here, but probably the previous 100 are housed here, okay? So that's how you access the YouTube. The link is right here, okay? And then once you know what that link is, you can bookmark it, okay? But we try to keep, the reason why they're not publicly on YouTube, once again, is because we like to kind of, you know, this is our, you know, we're like family here. So we kind of like to keep the information we specifically talk about kind of private amongst us, because you may have a particular question unique to you. We don't want that out there for the public. Okay, so we keep them hidden here. All right, so that's it, but it's on YouTube anyway, but it's called an unlisted area. Okay, so nobody can see it. Steve, does that do it for you? Now you know where to go, even if you lose a link. Super. Okay, good. All right, Kevin, thank you for being here as well as everybody else. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here next week. Okay, thanks everybody. Take care now.